At Elite Prospects, at this point of the season, we believe that Artyom Levshunov has the highest potential out of all the defensive prospects in the 2024 NHL Draft. He's scoring at close to a point per game rate in the NCAA with Michigan State University. That's very impressive. Showing you just highlights of his play wouldn't really give the right picture of his strengths and weaknesses, however. Yes, he's a top performer in the draft class right now, and an easy player to project to an NHL role, but at the same time, he's a very raw prospect still, who is going to need a lot of development. And that's both exciting, in a way, because the upside is great, and a bit scary too.
The game. Michigan State right to left, numbers again for the Spartans, fed far wing into the Penn State zone, breakaway shot, score! Levshunov jumping into the rush!
So what we're going to do is break down his most notable shifts from his games against Penn State University, and talk about his projection. It was a great weekend for him overall. He kept improving and showing more and more every shift. This shift opens with a great breakout play. The puck gets dumped in, Levshunov knows he's the number one option of his teammate, so he looks around the ice to map out his options. And he deflects the pass in the middle of the ice, beating the forecheck. Then he joins his teammates on the attack. He wants the puck. You see him moving at the point, looking for occasions to make plays. Here he shoots on net. He had space to make a better play than this, but at the same time, his teammates were all heading to the net, so it makes sense for him to shoot for deflections here. Too often, when scouting, we want players to make creative plays every time. But you have to look at what's available to them and their environment. Levshunov has some creative ideas. You will see them a lot in this video later on. But his teammates aren't as skilled as in some of the other NCAA formations. Here, his idea was pretty good. Levshunov wants to attack this space. He gives the puck back and goes down the wall while the defense is in balance, but he's a bit slow to do it and his teammate a bit too fast to pull the trigger here on a shot. Levshunov has what it takes to play a modern activation game and create offensive plays. His execution is hit and miss right now, but it's all about projecting what he could do with a better supporting cast in a different environment. Here, we get to see Levshunov play in the defensive zone. He forces an attacker to dump the puck in, and then runs after it and gets on the back of a second attacker. He pushes him to the blue line. His team seems to play a sort of zone defense with a focus on protecting the slot. They're all regrouped around it. So Levshunov goes back to his spot in front of the net as the puck moves across the ice and then pressures his opponent on the wall. He cuts access to the area below the goal line, a prime playmaking spot, and instead pushes the attack to the top and toward teammates. The puck moves across the ice. There's another rim, and the other team loses the puck. His team fails a breakout, and the play almost becomes a 2-on-1. Again, Levshunov sticks to his check and prevents a pass. Levshunov's defensive play was nothing extraordinary in the last clip, but he positioned well, read the next play, and shut it down. He does the same thing here. There's a 3-on-2, he anticipates the pass and cuts it with great technique. The defensive game will always be easier for a player like Levshunov than many other defensive prospects in this class. He's got the size, the reach, and the mobility. As long as he continues to read the play well enough and maintains good positioning and plays with urgency, he will block a lot of plays. He doesn't always have that urgency, however. That's a pretty bad play on his part here. He makes a soft sweep at the puck and doesn't finish his check. He had all the advantages here, but he wasn't aggressive enough. These kinds of plays are easily fixable. It's not that he lacked mobility or strength, he just needed better technique on the poke check and better timing on his closeout. When watching him, we can't forget that he's a freshman defenseman in the NCAA. It's pretty normal if opponents surprise him sometimes. Now we're getting into one of the best games that Levshunov has played this season. The first shift is 4-on-4. Takes the puck off the face-off and attempts a backhand pass to a teammate. But the puck arrives behind him. Levshunov draws a circle in the neutral zone, the puck moves to the blue line, he gets it and fires on that, before catching it back and passing it at the point. Michigan cycles around the zone. Again, Levshunov seems very comfortable playing this style of offensive game. There's lots of movements and player exchanges. He tries to run down the wall after making a back pass to a teammate, and then cuts to the net. We can easily imagine him running high and wide circles with some talented NHL teammates. The play turns into a rush defense, and I like this angling approach from him. He skates forward at the rush, yaps up, and then uses a bunch of one-foot pushes to maintain that gap and remove potential options from the opposition. They go for a change. Levshunov has to organize the attack. The opposition forms a line. Levshunov has 4 options here, 2 potential passes, or he could try to skate through. All of these plays would result in a dump-in. So he pushes back the defense and hits his teammate behind him instead, who can pick up speed and attack a flat-footed defense. That's a good decision. In this sequence, we see Levshunov's puck-moving ability. This first pass of a face-off misses. He didn't have the lane to pull it off. But the puck comes back and he activates along the far wall to create the next breakout. That's a nice give and go with his teammate to keep the defender back and create enough room to enter the zone. There's no play here, so he places the puck behind the net. There's a short battle, but the other team gets it back. We see his rush defense again. Good gap and angling here to cut the play. He times this turn very well, and then he instantly makes this perfect pass to his teammates, creating a 2-on-1 the other way. For the most part, Levshunov can make some great plays when he has his options in front of him, like in the last shift. But he can also struggle to make breakout passes off the wall, especially when he has forechecking pressure on him. Here, he forces a dump in. His teammate rims the puck back to him, and he sends it right to the other team. He did check for options before getting the puck, but he didn't anticipate the run of his teammate. He probably thought he was coming toward him instead of away. It wasn't the best read, but he makes up for it by jumping into the play and creating a scoring chance the other way.
Turnover by Michigan State, but Dowiak couldn't capitalize. Back out to center, it rattles. He's in for Matt DeMarsico tonight, playing with Reese Lawback and Aiden Fink. Levshunov with Lebster driving the goal, redirected it wide, centered it.
There's an aggressive and meaner side in Levshunov's game too. You see it in this shift. The other team dumps the puck in, they move it back to the point, and Levshunov defends the front of the net. He boxes out this opponent, and I think he gets slashed here. He's not very happy about it.
Inside the goal, centers off a stick, taken by Penn State to the far half boards. Back to the line, Dowd. Dowd, a shot looking for a redirect from Lampa. Sarlo had the screen out front. Now Berger guns from the near half boards. It was blocked in front of the goal. Sarlo at the end boards, extracts it, looks for Dowiak between the rings. Dowiak gets the steal, far circle. Dowiak centers, looking for Lampa. Couldn't get his stick down, tied up by Levshunov. Fired towards the goal again and sticked out by August.
He did cross a line at the end, but you see that he has the strength in the physical game to defend high danger area as well. These kinds of one-on-one battles shouldn't be a problem for him in the NHL. And from this point on, Levshunov opens up his offensive game. You see him sense an activation chance here. He goes from a glide to a full, powerful sprint and beats his coverage to take on the goalie.
Martin's fed far wing into the Penn State zone, breakaway shot, score! Levshunov jumping into the...
This sequence opens up on a face-off and a great breakout play from Levshunov. He gets to the puck, seals it with his body, turns, and evades a second forechecker with a pass to the middle. And then he moves up with his teammates as a fourth forward. But they don't use him. They dump the puck in instead, and the play turns into a forecheck. The other team recovers the puck. Levshunov swipes at it, but the opponent has time to make a pass across. His team gets the puck back. They chip it past everyone. There's a delay play, and here comes Levshunov.
Recovery by Berger. Howard back between the circles. Levshunov shot, save Soulier off his left shoulder. Great stop by Soulier.
It's really in these activation sequences that his hockey sense shines the most. Right place, right speed, right time for the most part. But we have more questions about his processing on breakout plays. He lacks a bit of precision on his passes and touches. Here, he tries to push the puck toward his teammate here, but the pass doesn't reach him. Then, there's a regroup. Levshunov picks up speed again and makes the same type of pass. He gets lucky and it works. He gets it back, misses the first pass, attacks inside, and makes this great play.
Fouquet, Levshunov, hands, sharp angle, shot, score! Lebster beats Soulier from below the near face-off circle. 6-2, Michigan State.
Projecting Levshunov is a bit complex this season. Yes, he plays at a lower pace, but he can really fly when he gets going. And yes, he makes a lot of mistakes, but he has some great flashes too. As a scouting team, we tend to value great flashes more than mistakes. This is only Levshunov's second year in North America playing against top opposition. It's probably going to take him some time to round out his game, learn the best play in each situation, and develop up to his potential. And even if he lacks precision right now in all facets of the game,
2-on-1, Penn State zone, Levshunov from the near circle, dropped it back, turning, drilled Soulier, down he goes.
He's still highly effective. In a few years, he could be a real force. Here's a great shift from start to finish. He gets the puck on a regroup, and he uses his skating. He attracts a forechecker, spins away, and attacks up ice. That's a really nice pass under a stick.
Now lets it fly, blockered out by Soulier. Soulier has done some good things here this weekend. Obviously 11 goals against, far from ideal. Point to point. Levshunov back to Nienhuis. Nienhuis along the boards. Nienhuis now goes to Levshunov. They are wheeling and dealing. Nienhuis one-timer. He scores!
I really like this play from him too. The puck gets to the top. Levshunov gets set and passes it back to the point. Instead of staying flat-footed, he fakes a run down the wall, drags his defender back, creates space for himself, climbs back up, makes a pick play, attracts a defender again, and passes back in an empty shooting lane. And here's one last great play from Levshunov at the end of the game. His team skates in the offensive zone. Levshunov has a lot of space. He could attack down and shoot, but there's a wall of bodies in front, and he sees that he has this pass option here. He also sees this defender coming to take it away, so he makes sure to fake a drive down and a shot before making a pass.
In his own zone. Now it is Levshunov atop the near circle. Backdoor pass, shot by Larson. Missed the target wide.
Levshunov is not a perfect quarterback right now. He's not a perfect anything, but he's got the tools. All the tools. He can skate fast, he can play a mean physical game, he pulled off some impressive shots in this game, and he also has some passing skills. Every single skill in this game projects as at least NHL average, and many will probably have high-end grades by the end of the season. And on top of having all these tools, more and more, I'm convinced that he's got some good playmaking ideas too. Even more than for other players, for Levshunov, it all comes down to putting all his skills together more often. It's a cliché, but he has to develop more shift-to-shift consistency, work on his decision-making and precision. He's not as dynamic as some other players in this draft, but he's very easy to project to an NHL role. His floor is very high and the ceiling too. If all goes well in his development, he could end up filling a top pairing role and become a pillar of your NHL team.
Levshunov! Floating into the zone and adds an insurance goal.
So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. You can also check out epringside.com for more prospects and player analysis.